Monsters Incorporated Storybook Collection. Who's that monster? Mike walked to Sully's office. It was time for the two best friends to head to the gym for their morning workout, but Sully's office door was shut. Mike was surprised. Sully always kept his door open. He reached up to knock. "Not so fast, Mr. Wazowski," said Sully's assistant, Spike. "President Sullivan is not to be disturbed this morning." "Sheesh," Mike shrugged. He was used to Spike being strict about rules, but it was pretty unusual for Mike not to know what Sully was up to. Mike headed to the locker room. He was just putting on his sweatband when Sully rushed in. "Hey, pal," Mike said happily. "You ready to hit the gym?" "Sorry, buddy, I've got to run," Sully called. He grabbed a bottle from his locker and raced out the door. Another laugh collector named Fungus was standing by. "I thought you two were best friends," he said. "We are best friends," said Mike firmly. "I'm sure he's just busy right now." Still, Mike couldn't help feeling a little hurt. Mike went into the gym. It was packed. There were monsters using weights, monsters riding exercise bikes, and even monsters lining up for beastly hula dancing class. Mike headed over to the two treadmills that he and Sully always used, but when he got closer, he stopped dead in his tracks. Sully was running on the treadmill, chatting with another monster. What's going on here? Mike wondered. As Mike stood there, the doors opened for the beastly hula dancing class. He got caught in the mad rush to get inside. "Excuse me," Mike said to the teacher, "but I'm not supposed to be in this class." Don't be silly," she said. "Everyone is welcome." Hula dancing was a lot harder than it looked. By the time the class ended, Mike was completely exhausted, and Sully was nowhere to be found. By the lockers, Mike bumped into George Sanderson. "I'm not sure I should tell you," George said nervously, "but I overheard Sully say something strange. He was just in here with a monster I've never seen before, and Sully told the new guy that he was going to be your replacement." "He said what?" cried Mike. George nodded. I heard him say, you're the perfect monster to take over for Mike." Mike couldn't believe it. How could Sully replace him? Mike looked for Sully in his office and on the laugh floor, but he was nowhere to be found. Later, when Mike walked into the cafeteria for lunch, he glanced over at the table that he and Sully usually shared, and there was Sully, just finishing lunch with the new monster. Mike stomped over to the table. He was so determined he didn't notice that someone had spilled a huge bowl of red slime gelatin all over the floor. "Wow!" yelled Mike as he slid across the cafeteria, his arms in the air. He crashed into a chair, flipped in the air, and landed on the dessert table. There was a moment of shocked silence. Then everyone began laughing and cheering. Because Mike was so good at getting laughs, they thought he had done it on purpose. "Bravo, Mike!" someone yelled. By the time Mike had wiped the frosting off himself, Sully was long gone. Mike went to find Sully to figure out what was going on once and for all. He raced out of the cafeteria and caught sight of a long blue tail disappearing into the elevator. "Aha!" Mike thought. He ran down the hall. Just as the elevators were about to shut, he stuck his hand between them. "Who do you think you are, you big furball?" he cried. The elevator doors slid open, and there stood another laugh collector who worked at Monsters Incorporated. "Aw, Mike," he sniffled. "Why do you have to be mean? I don't even have fur." Mike sighed. "Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to yell. I thought you were someone else." Mike got into the elevator. It had been the worst day ever, and he still hadn't found Sully. Just as the elevator doors opened, Mike spotted a sign on a nearby door. Sully was going to be there at 4 o'clock. "That's it," thought Mike. "I'll just wait here for him." It's the only way to find out why I'm being replaced. Mike went in and sat down in one of the comfy chairs. He had been so worked up all morning he hadn't realized how tired he was. Within minutes, he slid off the chair and fell asleep under the table. When Mike woke up, he was totally confused. He heard voices and laughter. He peeked out from under the tablecloth. It was a party! Sully was on the other side of the room. Behind him, Mike saw a sign that looked like it read, "Good luck, Mike." He couldn't believe it. He was at his own going-away party. He was being replaced. Mike stormed across the room and stood in front of Sully. "Hey, Mike," said Sully, "where have you been all day? There's someone I want you to meet." "Now you listen to me, James P. Sullivan," Mike said angrily. "You are an awful—" Just then, Sully moved, and Mike was able to read the whole sign. It said, "Good luck, Spike." Mike stared. This wasn't a going-away party for him. It was for Sully's assistant, Spike. George Sanderson was nearby sipping punch. "Sorry, Mike," he shrugged. "Sully came to the lab floor after lunch to tell us about Spike's replacement and the party." "My mistake." "Spike is moving to Slimeville. His cousin, Spike J., from the lab floor, has a place there," Sully said. "So I hired a new assistant. I'd like you to meet Grunt. I've been showing him around, but no tour of Monsters Incorporated is complete without meeting our best laugh collector and my best friend, Mike Wazowski." Sully smiled at Mike. "Now, what were you about to say?" Mike thought fast. I was about to say that you are an awfully great boss and an even better friend." Thanks, little buddy," Sully said. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Wazowski," said Grunt. "Actually," said Mike, grinning, "the pleasure is all mine." So remember, everyone, if you leap to conclusions, you will leap to confusion. Don't leap to conclusions without looking for the facts first. See you later. Bye.